Torah is a Tanis, so I just want to mention the halacha that the Tanis starts with the Alois HaShachar. Alois HaShachar now is approximately 5:30 in the morning. So if before you go to sleep tonight, if you have in mind to eat, and before you wake up, when you wake up, so you're allowed to do it, even though if you didn't have in mind, then you're not allowed to, and you woke up in the middle of the night, you're not allowed to eat. But if you had in mind to eat early in the morning, so if you wake up, let's say about 5 o'clock, and wash Nagovasa, you can make a bracha and everything, and you could eat then. And V'mela, so the tunnels will be much easier to the rest of the day. And when it comes after Alois HaShachar, you have to wash Nagovasa again, but without a bracha. So that's and also when you wash in the morning, usually people rinse them out in the morning. In a tanis, you're not allowed to rinse them out. In a tanis siba, other tanis maybe it's makel, but
the first time when you wake up, it means in general later when you wake up you didn't eat. If
you wake up after Alois HaShachar, so the tanis began already while you were sleeping, so you're not allowed to rinse your mouth when you get up. I wanted to say that just to be Yotze halacha. Now we'll go back to Megillas Esther. We've been talking lately about Megillas Esther, so we'll have another few thoughts on Megillas Esther. There's one part in the Megillah where we know that Esther invited Achashverosh, and then later she came a second time. The second time, finally, she spills the beans, so to say. She says what she wants. So listen to what she says. She says as follows. Ami b'shelosi, nafshi b'shelosi, v'ami b'bakashasi. I'm talking about for my people and everything. And she says as follows. Ki nimkanu ani v'ami. I and my people were sold. V'hashmed rada g'labed. A terrible thing, right? So I want that stopped. But she doesn't stop. She goes on and says, if we were sold to be slaves, over here that we were sold to be killed, he doesn't care about the loss that the king will have by losing so many people. Now, that's a very poor presentation for a lawyer. A lawyer darf schreien, not guilty. She darf schreien, we were sold, and I want you to stop it.
Why was she sick?
Why she making a deal? But it wasn't. That's not the case. Being that's not the case, so therefore it's even worse than that. And if it's worse than that as well, but that's not how you come to defend your people. Comes along Achashverosh, and Achashverosh he's frightened. He heard such a thing. He's frightened. Listen what he says. He says, how many questions is he asking now? 2 questions, right? Mi hu zeh ve'ezahu. 2 questions he's asking. Hashem Maloi Liba Rasas Kain that had the audacity, the chutzpah to do such a thing. Vatayma Esther Ish Shav Ayev Haman Razah. So, did she answer his questions? No. Because he asked me who zeh ve'ezahu, question me who zeh, and ve'ezahu. And she answers, Haman or Razah. Come on, you're dealing with a king. I mean, you gotta be professional. He asked you 2 questions, answer the 2 questions. What happened over here was she said to Achashverosh, and then weiter, was fragt der Miu zeh ve'ezahu? What do you mean? You're a partner. You forgot that Haman came to you and offered you 10,000 silver pieces and to send a letter, the Hashma the Laharig, and the letter has your seal on it. What do you mean? You don't know what's wrong with you? Are you suffering from amnesia? You forgot everything? What happened? She's very polite to him. She's very polite to him. She doesn't say, oh, Your Majesty, I'm afraid that you have forgotten, something. She answers him, Miyazeh, she answers him, Hamarazah. She says, come on, stop playing games with me. What happened if it was the same? When Haman came to the king, Haman asked the king that he wants to do something to the Jewish people. What does he want to do to the Jewish people? He wants to enslave the Jewish people. Okay? He wants to make them avodim. So the king said, no, okay. You want to make them avodim? We'll have a lot of avodim. That's a good idea. I like the idea. What did Haman do? But Haman went and he tricked the king. He cheated the king. What he did was, when he had to write Hashmed, Lahareg, Abed, so Abed, instead of writing, how do you write to become an Eved? Lamed Ayin Beis Daled. He changed. He took, instead of the Ayin, he put in an Aleph. He changed it. So therefore, she says to the king, the way you taka made up with Haman, I'd have to be quiet. But he went and he falsified, and instead of writing the Abed with an ayin, he wrote the Abed with an aleph. So Mela, that I can't be quiet. When the king heard that, the king says, Mi hu zeh be'ezehu Hashem Allah li b'lasas kain. Who had the guts to do it? But he said to her something else also. He asked her, Mi hu zeh be'ezehu, because she told him something that's not written in the Megillah. She told him that we have two enemies. One is an open enemy, and one is like a concealed enemy, a hidden enemy. Now, in Yiddish and in Hebrew, when you speak, there's what's called a lashon nista and a lashon neichach. In America, in Yiddish Zakman, when you talk to your Chavi, you say, "Was machst du?" Do. When you talk to a choshev person, you say, "Was macht ihr?" Okay, and same thing also in Hebrew. When you talk to a person, you say "ata," and when you talk to a choshev person, you say "who?" Third person. When we say "zeh," "zeh" means this. Ki hu zeh. This, you're pointing to it. It's Golu. When you say who is third person already. It's hidden. So Haman said, Achashverosh said to Esther, you telling me about two enemies. Mi hu zeh. Who is the zeh, the open enemy? Ve'ezeh who is the hidden enemy? Tell me about it. So she said, Haman hara hazeh. The open enemy is Haman. The other thing she didn't want to answer him because who is the other one? She said Malach. She wanted to point, but Malach pushed her hand away. So that's why she didn't answer him on the second question. At the end, finally, when the king heard this Maisa, so he agreed that he'll save the Jews, right? Now, he'll save the Jews, so he said, V'ata and yet, Kisru ala Yehudim katay beinechem, ki ksav asher nichtav v'nechtam b'das hamelech ein lo hashuv. He's contradicting himself. Kisru al Yehudim k'tayv benechem is going to be different than what was before. Right? Because before the Gishtan Einzach, and now you're going to say another thing. So what's he telling her? He says, Kisru al Yehudim k'tayv, write whatever you want, because a ksav that was already written, you can't retract it. Then there's another question. It says Kisru al ha-Yehudim, that's the language in the Megillah. Kisru al ha-Yehudim, he should have said Kisru la Yehudim k'tayv benechem. Right to the Jews. The word al ha-Yehudim means about the Jews. Now he said Haman is a terrible person. When we agreed lahashmer l'abed u'areg es kol ha-Yehudim, I told him one thing, but that after the word is kol, you have to put in a comma. So what's that? You put in a comma. So it's lahashmer l'abed es kol, and who should do it? Ha-Yehudim. So the whole problem is that when he left out that comma, kumtes kisru al Yehudim, es kol Yehudim chas v'shalom. So he said kisru al Yehudim to explain the meaning of the word Yehudim. Do it k'tayv benechem. Explain that it didn't mean without a comma that they should do chas v'shalom to the Yidden. No, it meant with a comma. And Mela, that's what the Yidden Taka did. Okay, that's Beneged Megillah. Will be Messiah with a vote from the Rebbe, also a vote from the Rebbe. So there's a famous sicha from the Rebbe on the Gemara of Chayiv Adam V'Sumri B'Poye Ad Yada Ben Baracham and Ben Araham and Barach Madcha. And the Gemara brings a story, and the story that the Gemara brings is Rabbi Varazeda Avdu Sudas Purim Behedi Adodi. They made together. Ifsum, they became shikah. Come Rabba, so Rabba got up and shocked the Reb Zayda, and he killed Reb Zayda. You know, a shikah, can't control himself, so he could do dangerous things. L'mocha, the next day, boy Rachma, he was mispalel for him. V'achye, and he was mechayim mesim. Reb Zayda grew on circle abadik. L'shana, in the next year, Amalei, Rabbi says to Zayda, Neisi ma v'neves sudas purim b'hadei adadi. Maybe maybe we make a, last year we had a very good party. How about having another party like last year? Amalei said to him, Last year I died, and you were Mechayim Mesim. Who says, I can't take a chance? Maybe we'll have the same thing again. So the Rebbe asks over here a lot of questions. The questions are basically, first of all, be pastas for Rabba, that Taka Gran Shika, but to kill a person, there's no justification for that. That's the first question. And then, what's the pshat that, so Rabba should have learned the lesson, right? So how does Rabba come the next year and offer, let's make again a party? Why, you want to kill me? We come to this, it doesn't make sense. So the Rebbe has other kashas over here. But so some takas say that it wasn't mamash, he killed him, but it became shikar, it was as though he almost killed him. Like he almost killed him. So what's the shot? He at the Machai event, he gave him something like when you're shikar, so it's good, there's certain things to drink, like to help you maybe to vomit out, so you'll come back to yourself. So he helped him get back to himself, but the Rebbe said, that's not the pshat in the Gemara. That's not the pshat in the Gemara, and still, why would he offer him a second? So to make a bekitza, we're limited in time, but to make a bekitza, the Rebbe says a different pshat in the Gemara. The Rebbe bases it on an Orachayim in Chumash. And God in the Sikhi writes Orachayim HaKodesh. Babish is not popular to say Orachayim HaKodesh, but the Rebbe over here says Orachayim HaKodesh. in the Gemara in the Chumash, there's a story with Nadav and Avihu. That Nadav and Avihu, they died on the day of the Chanukas HaMishkan. And what happened? So state in the Gemara, in the Pasuk state, in Gemara say that they came in Schure Yayin, they came in Shikha to the Beis HaMikdash. So the question is, and that's why right in that Parsha, right after this Parsha state, that the Eibishter said, Yayin v'sheich al teisht. So, wie kommt es that they should be, and Moshe says to Aaron, B'kroivei HaKodesh, that they're holier than us. What are they so holy? They're hungry shikhet and they had an accident, that makes them holy, and holier than Moshe Aaron. So the Orach Chaim says that what happened over there was that they saw such a Gilul Elikus, that from the Gilul Elikus they given Klois HaNefesh. In other words, their soul left them.
They use a lot of the trainings there.
Huh?
The Racham use a lot of the trainings.
Good, okay, but I don't want to go into all the details. That the soul left them. So the Rebbe says that the same thing happened over here, that Chure Yayin means that we shake the Pasuk, Nichnas Yayin Yotzasayid. What's the pshat Nichnas Yayin Yotzasayid? Nichnas Yayin Yotzasayid means that when a person drinks wine, so then he could be Megalas Soidis, which otherwise he wouldn't be Megala. So the Rebbe said that even there were Gedolim, that B'shas they said they were Nichnas Yayin, they said Gevaldik Atifa Titus, that they didn't say B'shas they were Nichta. So the same thing over here, Rabbi and Reb Zera, they drank wine, and Mega Nichnas Yayin Yotzasayid, so they started being Megala, such deep Panemius Dikas Torah, that Reb Zera had a Klois HaNefesh. Why didn't it affect Rabbah? Why didn't it affect Rabbah? Why did it only affect Reb Zera? So the Rebbe says, because by Rabbah means big. The word big. By Rabbah is going Gadol Samoichan. He had a great mind. The Rebbe also used to drink a lot, and he was able to manage it. And Zera comes from the word Zeira. Zeira means clove. So by Reb Zera given Katna Samoichan, and by Rabbah is given Gadol Samoichan. So the Sheit Kom Rabbah rose. Rabbah rose through this Torah. He rose so high that it was Megala, such deep things that it killed Reb Zera. And not that he acted, there was a Klois HaNefesh. And B'meila, so later on, he was Mispalel and he came back, but not Chas v'Sholom that Rabbah literally killed Reb Zera. And therefore, it was nothing wrong what he did. There was nothing wrong that he did. If it was a Gevaldik Sudas Purim that he was Megala such Torah that so he asked, say yes, Reb Zera, maybe we should do it again, and I'll have a chance to be Megala Rosen, and you will benefit from the Rosen. So he said to him, I don't want to take a chance. Because who knows? Because Moldok Klois HaNefesh, and you can't come back to yourself. And Vival the Indian is that to be an Neshama Beguf, not to go out of the Guf. But so I don't want to be Mevatel that Indian, and therefore I have to turn down your offer. This is how the Rebbe explains this story. Bekitza, it's in Chelik Amid Aleph in Likutei Sichos. Just Messiah with a milsa de Bedichasa. They ask a question. If Haman was so bad, and the Shteitach in Agad the Shteitach by Russia v'Avat HaKeshinov, why didn't Mordechai knock out Mordechai's teeth, Haman's teeth? The teretz is because I once said the Medrash already that Haman was an Ebed for Mordechai. And the din, and the din by Nebuchadnezzar is that if you knock out his teeth, it goes out free. So he didn't want to lose his seven, therefore he didn't knock out his teeth. Okay.